Since I've been in Alaska, I've been a small business owner.
Well, certainly I have a lifetime of private sector experience as an LNG expert running large budgets since I was in my late 20s and government budgets since I was mayor of Soldotna. I have experience on 3 continents in industries that are important to the state. I'm involved in fishing, I'm involved in oil and gas, been involved in tourism, I've owned restaurants and snowplow companies, and been a small business owner my entire life.
I went to a website that it's called Alaska's Checkbook, and there is millions of dollars in there that can be cut.
I made the equivalent of 8,000 $50,000 cuts with $400 million. That's not including the big cuts we made on what we didn't pay on the Hess supplemental and what we didn't pay in capital as we retracted on spending.
Like I said, there's a lot of stores that can be filled up. The lowest building over here, that is a big building. It could hold a lot of people and would hold a lot of business.
Value added to our products. The reality of it is we've been sending raw fish, timber, and ore out of this state for 125 years. And what we're trying to do in the legislature is incentivize that value adding occurs in this state.
Yeah. A caucus is one thing, but the binding caucus, that I do not agree with the binding caucus.
So the reality of it is you've got to be in the majority in order to make it happen. And for those folks that sit with their pretty white jerseys and never want to vote on anything, they are costing us hundreds of millions of dollars a year by not engaging, whether they're on the right or in the left. The fact is, if they're not engaged with the majority, they are costing all of you money.
Unfortunately, I have not researched the funding, so I'm not exactly sure how it works. Of course, you only know what I've heard.
The reality of it is we have schools in the middle of nowhere that are very expensive per student that have a very poor outcome. I think what we need to do is capture the best in practice that we do here on the Kenai, share it around the state, bring that cost down where we can. But the reality of it is those prices, when you think about the healthcare impacts, when we freeze funding for education over time, it ends up cutting into what happens in the classroom, and that ends up hurting our kids. So, huge supporter of education funding and will continue to be in the future.